I'm not. I have no idea what's going on. Fingers crossed it's going to work. So one of the things that you absolutely can 100% expect to be asked in the exam will be making up solutions. Making up solutions. And just to give you an example of that, let's say it will be something along the line of you need to make up 40 milliliter of 160 millimolar solution. And the molecular mass of that is, let's say, 100 gram per mole. And the question is, how much of the substance do you have to weigh in? So how much of the substance? Much substance is required. And I showed you this really nifty trick where you are basically guided by the units, where you don't have to remember any equations. All you need to use is the right units and of course the right question in a way. So the first thing that with this dimensional analysis or using just simply the units to calculate things is that you ask, what is the unit that I'm looking for? And in this case, what's the unit that I'm looking for? Loud? Grams. It is grams, how much of the substance is required. So I put my grams here. Do I have grams anywhere? Yes, I have grams here. So I put that down as 100 grams per mole. So the grams are okay, but I now need to get rid of the moles somehow. And I write this sort of as fractions so that the units that I don't want will cancel each other out. Do I have mole anywhere? Where? In the concentration, exactly. And I can write this as 160 times 10 to the minus 3. The 10 to the minus 3, that's the milli. Mole per liter. Now the moles cancel out, but I still have the problem with the liter, and in order to get rid of the liter, I need to find something that cancels the liters out, times, and I've got this one here, the 40 milliliter, 40 times 10 to the minus 3, that's the milliliter, and the liters cancel out. And what I'm left with is 100 grams times 160 times 10 to the minus 3 times 40 times 10 to the minus 3. And the unit that's left, that's in this one here, that's the grams. And can't do that in my head. 40 times 160 is 6,400 times 100 is this, divided by 1,000 is this, divided by another 1,000 is this. So this is 0.64 grams. Is that correct? Yeah. So again, it's a very simple method. You don't have to learn anything terribly exciting in terms of equations. However, if you have learned something like that in a different way, no problem with me. I'm not terribly dogmatic. I don't tell you you have to do it in this way and there's no other way. There are loads of different ways. You can skin a cat, although I never understood this English phrase. Why on earth would you skin a cat? Right? That's, I have no idea why you want to do that. But if you want to skin the cat in a different way, here, please be my guest. As long as you get the right result, I have no objections whatsoever. Yeah? Be careful. I had some people emailing me, saying they had problems with some of the quizzes because the answers were not given, and it turned out that very nonchalantly they just simply ignored the millis and micros and things like that. So it's if you don't take care of the millis and micros of the right units, then it will definitely not be right. It's a little bit like somebody saying, oh, I have £1 in my account, and it turns out they have 1k pounds in their account. Yeah, it's a little bit of a difference, usually a factor of 1,000 in such a case. Yeah, so please, please, please make sure that you don't completely neglect these important parts. Occasionally you have to calculate how many moles are in a certain solution, and again you can use exactly the same approach. So let's say you want to know how many moles are in, let's say, 20 milliliter of 100 millimolar solution. And again, you can use exactly the same approach. You can say what I'm looking for, that has the unit mole. That's already there. Do I have moles anywhere? Yes, of course, it is here in the concentration. So I have 100 times 10 to the minus 3 mole per liter. And don't forget, this capital M stands for mole per liter. Now the mole is in the right place, but I have to get rid of the liter. So I have to find something that I can use to cancel out the units. And I have that here with the 20 milliliters, so times 20 times 10 to the minus 3 liter. And oh joy, my liters cancel out. And I'm left just with the unit that I want, that I've defined here. And all that is left is 100 times 10 to the minus 3 times 20 times 10 to the minus 3, and the unit is left mole. So that's 2000 divided by 2, that's 2. And that would be 2 times 10 to the minus 3 mole. Is that correct? Yeah? Ha! Don't even need a calculator. And of course, I can also write this as 2 millimole. Okay? Happy with this approach? And as I said, again, be careful with millis and micros and things like that. Don't leave them behind. They do have a purpose in life. They're not just annoying things. Likewise, you will lose marks if you don't put in any unit. Yeah, please, please, please do me a favor. I want all of you to get 100%. I don't gain anything if students don't do well. I want you all to achieve. But you have to give me a chance to help you with that, right? So please don't mess up these tiny little things which are absolutely crucial. If there's no unit, remember what I showed you at the beginning. Do you want 10?
Yeah.
You want 10?
I'm going to say yes.
You say yes. He still hasn't got it. Ah, thank you, because I was about to slap him 10 times on the naked ass.
I was late.
Yeah? Do you want 10?
No, I do not. Of what?
Ah, yeah, because had you said, no, I don't, I would have offered you a tenner. But, you know, please, please, please make sure that the units are always there. A unit, a number without a unit is basically like how can I liken it to? Basically going to the venue and not having a drink. It's just, you know, you can't imagine that. I didn't say whether it's an alcoholic drink or not, but, you know, you got the drift. Okay? We were talking about moles. And what I want you to remember about moles is that the definition of a mole is 1 mole equals 6.023 times 10 to the loud 10 to the 23 units. This could be atoms, molecules, ions, whatever you want. So I just simply say in this case molecules. And you might get asked about you know, how many molecules are in a specific solution. How many molecules of ATP are actually in an E. coli cell? It's quite an interesting calculation. I'm not going into that because that might be something for the exam where I have to do a calculation like that. Obviously, you would need to know the volume of an E. coli cell. You need to know the concentration of ATP, and then you can easily figure it out. Another thing that you need to be really confident with is when you make up solutions, you sometimes have something given as percentage. And you need to remember that, for example, a 1% weight per volume solution stands for, it's the same as 1 gram per 1 gram per
100 milliliter.
loud
100 milliliter.
100 milliliter. Thank you very much. 100 milliliter. Yeah. So here that's the weight and that's the volume. 1 over 100 is 1%. Or 1% weight per volume is also the same as 10 gram per liter. I just simply expand this fraction by factor 10. Yeah? That's also another fairly important thing for you to remember for the exam. We also discussed what happens if you want to make up a solution where you have actually a stock solution and you want to convert that into a working solution. And for that, we said, here is our stock solution, here is our working solution. What we need to do is we need to calculate the amount of moles that we have in this working solution that we want to have, and then have to take out the amount of moles that we want to have from the stock solution. And the way we do that is we have the famous C1V1 equation equals C2V2. And if you think about it, what unit does C1V1 have? If you think about it. Sorry, loud? Anyone? So what is C? What is the unit for C? Loud? Molar, exactly. What? How else can I say that? Moles per liter. So we have mole per liter. What's the unit for V? Liter, exactly. So what you see is the liters cancel out. And with the C1V1, you actually calculate how many moles you have to take out from the stock solution so that you get the moles that you want in your working solution. Yeah? This is basically what this equation tells you. And you just simply rearrange that and you get the volume of your stock solution that you need equals C2V2 divided by C1. Yeah? Happy with that? This is for the case where you don't have sort of a gram per mole, where you don't work with a solid substance that you can weigh in. This is for the case where you see stock solution and working solution. Make sense? Yeah. What else did we do in this part? I think these are probably the most important bits that we've done, isn't it? And this is really the stuff that I want you to be able to basically know in your sleep. I don't want you to agonize and sit there and think, oh my God, what was this equation and what was this equation? If you want to make up solutions, just follow the units. Follow the units. I think I will probably patent that as my catchphrase. Follow the unit. And you don't really have to think about what the equation is. If you have working and stock solution, you just simply use the C1V1. Of course, you need to know what C1V1 is, but otherwise there shouldn't be any problems. Are you happy with that? I assume you have all received the exam brief from me that tells you what the exam will look like. So you have 30 multiple choice questions, and these multiple choice questions will be from the entire range of topics that we have done. And you have section B, where you have to do one problem question. You have the choice of 3. And these questions are a combination of topics. So it could very well be that there will be something, make up a buffer and do a statistic calculation, determine the growth of something, do statistics with it, something like that. But please do only one, because otherwise you run out of time. And the other problem is if you do 2, because I'm a really nasty person, I will count only the one where you get the lower marks. No, I won't, of course not. But, you know, just what's the point? You don't have to prove anything, just do 1. Okay? Happy with that? Please don't forget to submit your tests by the online quizzes by the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. And I think I told you that in order for one of these online quizzes to count, you have to get at least 80% in this particular test. So if you have got 3 tests, 100, 100, and 20, your marks will be 100, 100, and 0. Yeah? But you can do them as often as you like. I would strongly suggest that you do these online quizzes that you use them as a revision tool, because I set them for a purpose. Any further questions, ladies and gentlemen? Your last chance. No further questions? Yes? Sorry? You've got my recent email about that? Yes, you have. Check it, because I suggest, I sent that last week or something like that, about all the tests, yeah. And I also ask people to keep track of their scores themselves, because it's, for you, it's just one sort of little table. For me, it's 250 tables, and I have to keep track of it. If you haven't got this email, send me an email and then try to dig it out again. Okay? Go in peace. I hope you enjoyed this module, a little bit at least. It was an enormous pleasure to be with you, and good luck for the exam. And if there are any questions, you know how you get hold of me. Okay? Take care. God bless you.